Hi guys and welcome back to another video and the wrestling review from Daniel. Oh, it's been a while since I've heard to the beat upon the camera, so hope it's actually working alright. So this is our raw review. So we start off with Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu's acknowledgement into the bloodline. Jay Uso and Jimmy are out there, but Roman stays away for us stay on the job. Oh, but that was after Roman acknowledged them. Said to the crowd taking all age out comes Jacob Fatu. He's ears down the Usos. He stares the owner woman. Jay's like time of there. Seems acknowledge and Jacob actually says to Jay, you've never been me, Jay, it was Roman, and it be, eat me, why are you acting on the tribal chief or Romans like Jake, I'm over here, and you will acknowledge me, Jacob actually says he's been taken off after his entire life. I promised the family I would ignore always do if I lost them. I'm the man of my word. So he kneels down, acknowledges Roman able handshake. The rest of the will on the line throw their hands up to the sky. You see Jacob reluctantly do it, and then a bit with later you see the leave the ring. Jacob's dragging behind. He doesn't look thrilled, but with a Juby. Then we enter our first match of the evening, which is the Fatal Four-Way um, first round match of the King of the Ring tournament. You have Penta, Dragon Lee, Solo Sikoa, Rusev, and Obafemi. And I have to actually say this was a good opener. Obafemi bounced back. Obafemi bounced back, um, which was nice to see. He had a good full area offense off the bat till three of his opponents flying uppercuts to enter and Dragon. He solo attempts to get him if a corner spot ashes he's up against Dragon in the corner, but to no avail, he shrugs it off. Oba and Solo but all into the crowd that we spent and Dragon to continue the fight in the ring. Solo and Solo and Oba but all for a bit in the crowd. You see Tawatonga getting involved to win and take it back to the ring. Corey Graves and Michael Cole will actually say where does MFT fit in the bloodline? ein saga of got all of that. But yeah, then gets rammed into the post later on by Tala Atonga. He's able to shrug a goal off. He shrugged off super kicks, but for that from Penta and um from Enta, from Penta, and well, why did I keep saying Dragon E for a minute? Hold on. Um, so basically, um, s- so basically, it was Carmelo Hayes, sorry. Um, so he shrugged off super kicks from Carmelo Hayes and Penta, El Eon, um, Carmelo Hayes and Penta trade offense in the ring as this going on. Penta hits the first for 48 and Penta hit the Pentagon Iver on Carmelo. That would make a good feud for the IC belt, but Carmelo's obviously in SmackDown. Um, so yeah, that won't be happening anytime soon. The finish of the match sees over to dismantle Carmelo Hayes, Solo Sikoa, Penta, and Tala Tonga. He chucks Tala Tonga over the announce table. He chucks Carmelo Hayes, chucks Penta, chucks Solo, and then into the fall from Grace to get the win. Sorry for the mix-up, guys. I just have dragging you on the brain right now. During this breakdown, but it was a good match from all four men. Solo predictably he takes pin here as he's not really got anything other than the bloodline arc tying him in now, but that's only just started again with him. You do actually find out that that Tawatonga is in the mix against um against or uh, uh, against um I think Tala was pulled out the tournament and replaced by Sami Zayn and Jeremiah McIntyre here according to my notes. But yeah, Oba gets on the mic after the match and he says that this is what happens after I take the ass for whooping that Burlock said. Oh, the paparazzi is not you are a coward that's unhonorable on until next time. So it's obviously not over over advances. You do actually get Corey Graves and Michael Cole actually say at the end of Rotten they'll be showing the on-war presentation of the Triple A Mass versus Mass match between two Americanos, which, in my opinion, is um, is the fucking match of the year so far. Um, but yeah, um, but yeah, um, so yeah, they decided to show that again. I watched it after the show. Um, g- good match this on as was the opener after all. So yeah, that's what took place after the show. But enough about that wonderful match, and then we'll go to our next match of the evening, and our next segment of the evening. So, alright, so up against Solo up again. Solo cuts up almost. Sorry, I'm making a lot of mistakes in this review, but Soka comes out, she thanks the crowd, and at she actually speaks at Italian, she says Becky and Doughty either but big props in her performance, but she's happy that she proved her wrong, and then the lead steps up is gonna is gonna lose, and the outcome will be the same. The crowd chant you deserve it. Kathy Kelly, he asked, oh, how did it feel to become champion? That was her response, that she'd hated all her life, and stuff. So that was a pretty good segment. But before she came out, guys, you do see Maxine Dupree in the background having a um, having a conversation with Max in Dupree. Austin Theory's kind of been on a recruiting mission in the background. We've seen eye contact between the two last week, and we've seen these conversations. Maxine Dupree could do a very setting at the moment. I think she I, I think she's improved a lot in the ring, and I think she's out through the Alpha Academy by quite a bit. Um, so yeah, that was interesting in the background. So because promo was nothing out of the ordinary, but she certainly improved on the mic. Then you get Rey Mysterio and Dragon only. It's Dragon only this time, guys, up against Rusev and Ethan Page. Um, so the heels obviously take control through the majority of the match. Um, your standard tag team match, your standard tag team match here, so your standard tag team match. The heels beat down on and oh, he constantly hot tag to him stereo he gets going. Age actually shoves or the integer again, or Usev and Ja, or I can spell out to the outside after he hits the summer. So on just 619 Ethan Page and the mask Luchadors get the win here. Former LWO members, they were both often in the six pack challenge ladder matches as well as Rusev. Um, Age again suffers a defeat, not looking too good for Ethan Page. He's seen more canvas than Pablo Picasso recently. Eh? But so yeah, but yeah, overall, guys, a decent tag team match. Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio have good um have good chemistry. Rusev is sporting his new merchandise, but um, but, um, I um, anger, whatever, as in the short, I couldn't really make it out. The rhyme is hot for the entire show, and then this match here, which elevated, a pretty standard tag team match, but it was good. You see Ellen out backstage, um, talking to Adam Pearce after our enter as to that Rey Mysterio gets his IC title match next week. That'll be a banger. Ellen I is in the Adam Pearce's pill in favourites for the MSTs as ill out the beat the owner Jacob for to carry on. Adam Pearce says I'm not pulling favourites. To keep I'm trying to keep the ball on the line and on and I actually said as well you don't want either me or Jacob to become world heavyweight champion. Have you forgotten as well the bill on the line put you through? Hell, when now you're siding with them and they try to put Pierce's finger up in the air to signal either ones, which is obviously the signature of ton of the bill line. So yeah, that's fine. Then you get the second, then you get the fifth ultimate match of the evening. It's Io Sky versus Julia versus Lashley Legend and Roxanne Perez. You do get a promo from Ashley Legend to kill Erin and that she's the busiest and she's fit to be on the crown. She's the queen and and crown. She's half right. She is quite fit, so we'll give her that. But yeah, she comes up short, and then this hatch, obviously. Um, so, so yeah, Joe, yeah, kinda gets home advantages, obviously, as Corey Graves points out, a family owned an Italian restaurant over in Chile, and um, our father was Italian, our mother's Japanese, so pretty good stuff from Corey Graves. I have a love-hate relationship with Corey Graves. He's starting to get on there, but he's a very good baby face and a announcer for Chirapaway. He sort of plays the heel and announcer on the Raw. Oh, it's an interesting contrast. Ioska, as I've said many times, one of the best wrestlers in the women's division and amongst one of the best in the entire company, and Oroxa and Perez is really improved. So this is a match breakdown. I should get good offense from all four women. Io Sky, Julie, yeah, Lashley, Jen, and other ops, and have a good amount of offense. I like the fact that Joe, yeah, and the Rocks and kind of continue the rivalry a bit. Obviously, obviously, the third small world, have each other walked up and head scissors and Lashley agent has rock Sanper is has has rocks and Perez tied up in a Boston Crab. Later on in the match, see Julia and Roxanne exchange some hard chops. Julia has a background of wrestling in Japan for stardom. As I've said, our family background's very interesting. She was actually born down in London, so shout out to Sean. I bet you that's something you haven't really considered. Maybe I've mentioned it before. I can't remember, um, but yeah. So Roxanne decides to be Julia, and you and me were up together type thing, but Rams aren't, hits her and Rams her into the ring. Then uh, then Ashley agent hits all three women if they were Ash's engine. She can't um she hits Jill and her Oxan if they were Ash's engines or e, Iosk eyes perched up on perched up on the top rope. She switches around and hits it over the moonsault to Joe. Yeah, for the three each. And I have to actually say the crowd dove into Joe. Yeah, here based on her background. She pointed to the Italian flag on a ring year um due to her heritage. So yeah, yeah, very good. She's Julie, yeah, actually speaks both French, Japanese, and Italian, because others Japanese, obviously, as well, and her father's Italian. So yeah, we do get another with the Anhausen segment about how he's on the New York accent, how he's on cost the ESPN sports presenter there on our way to the Hill off for the first time in 1992, apparently. Yay, whoop-de-doo. Like, I used to really be into basketball when I was like 12, but it really doesn't do it for me anymore. Well, to be honest, all the stars of basketball are either dead in tragic circumstances like Kobe Bryant or have long since retired. The new crop of basketball players are shite. Um, so yeah, um, the next match on the card then as obviously the main event, but before we get into that, guys, you do have an El Grande Americano promo. He basically asks and he's entering the mass versus mass match. It says, oh, us Americanos and Elgra and the Americano proved that Lucha Libre is back. So yeah, he's all happy. You do get the Mac seen the conversation with the Alpha Academy. They're like, what's the story you've been hanging about with Austin Theory a lot recently, whether other than us? Um, Maxine says Erie's harmless, don't worry about it. So there's definitely a happening here. I know Sean's not really into the vision or Austin Erie, but like I'm kinda at the point now. I like Maxine Dupree, so any kind of development here that she gets now is pretty much well in my book because her IC women's title short reign was very well deserved. She's improved a lot recently. If only that title reign was a bit long, that would be my only pick. The Natalia a feud kind of fell flat, so they need to find a way to regain her momentum. Um, but as I've said, as I've said, I've really seen improvement in Mark, seen to Purry and to Sean especially. I'm not just saying that to be on ice and icy. She's actually improved like significantly. Eh, Um, so yeah, and she has really developed her in skill. She just needs that extra till you can character development, and hopefully she gets that. Um, so basically, Roxanne Perez is feeling down. Um, is feeling down about her loss. Her face is kinda tripping her a bit. So yeah, so then Liv Morgan comes in to celebrate her being included into the in the ring tournament. I mean, um, into the Netherlands tournament despite being ordered of women's world champion. She says her and the are gonna become king in the ring. JD and or Raquel says what about me? She says to the Roxanne, don't worry, Roxy, we don't pound out here in the judgment day. We take off away. We take our opportunities. So don't be like that. Or Roxanne's getting sick of and then earlier of Romo we get the Judgment Day's reaction to Finn Balor being traded a SmackDown. Um, so J.D. McDonough says goodbye. I get the get the riddance uh, get the riddance basically. I'd have thought we'd have got a rematch between Dominic and Finn. It was looking that way. Dominic Mysterio was then asked how does he prepare for his um fatal four-way match next week. Says he he says he'll win in the fatal four-way and advance to the next round. Um, Byron Saxton asks, how will you prepare for the next round if you do get by the fatal four-way? Because you'll be up against over Femi Domin. He actually responds with, I'm not afraid that I'm not afraid that over Femi should be the one who's afraid of me. You, the king of the Luchador horse. Dominic Mysterio is just absolutely brilliant. I can't get enough of him. JD McDonough is also in in the ring tournament. So yeah, so there's that as well. Then you get to the main event, guys, and it's a banger between Seth Rollins and Baron Breaker are both guys laid all out on the line. Braun Breaker took the early offense to Rollins, throwing him about the ring, ragdolling him, tries, he does a shoulder block, flying shoulder block, walking outside and the ring, very cool. He tries to spear Seth Rollins the for the angle is speaking announce table from the Italian announced table, but that's countered into pedigree. The a couple of spears Rollins X out Buddy Acre tries to bow up the Falcon arrow into one of his own, but that's countered in Seth Rollins' second attempt. The finish of the match sees Austin Erie come out to hit um, um, to hit Rollins at the in the back of the head with after or tag team championship belt. So he was down, Breaker takes advantage on the spear roll and kicks out more on test forward and takes care of Austin Theory after somersault on Ja. Then you um and the and Heyman gets involved the Shudder Seth Rollins as um, as he looks to put away Bray or off an attempt Heyman puts Bray Hart's foot on the ropes so there's a confrontation between Rollins and Bray Hart and it will leads to break or attempting his it will leads to break or attempting his ear his ear but he ends up spearing Paul Heyman. He ducks out the way. And then there are all and the grabs the bell towards the end, but on actually attempts to spear again. A sort of Goldberg Bret Hart sort of deal, and he ends up spearing the belt stomp 1, 2, 3 and Rollins as so and also on the breaker looks to is then confused and Rollins points to say thank you to Ford and yeah that so yeah that can yeah, so that can draw a very fast paced match. I might have got some of the moves mixed up in order, but it was a pretty good match here, guys. Rollins hits a couple of stomps and pedigrees, but Rollins hits a couple spears. The kill Line attempted at Burrow on Breaker did get walked in or all ends attempting the same thing, so that was a cool spot as well. And a very spot heavy but very well on and that looks to was the chapter now that obviously Logan Paul is out injured but Ron Breaker's taking up his half of the world tag team championships on the Raw. Also, it looks as though Butter on will be in the tag division for a little bit. So yeah, so that will end the feud with Rollins and but alright for now, although Sean seems to think it'll be Seth Rollins and Braun, but he are in the finals of the King of the Ring tournament, so we'll see. So the end overall, or it ends up with the showing the mask versus mask match. So yeah, so overall pretty good show and stuff. If you got to see the on or presentation of the Mass versus Mass Acclaim match. That was the second time I've seen that because I've watched as I watched the last each triple A episode, and that was a pretty fun episode as well. The match itself, the Master versus Master, is fun to watch again, although the EP was out of sync at points, some of the audio, but yeah, other than that, that was a fun audio watch, and yeah, I'm gonna give this maybe an 8 out of 10, pretty good action. Let me know what you thought in the comments section, and hopefully WWE keep us up because they need to start getting some consistency. 8 out of 10, a banger in event. Maxine Dupree is getting some character and development, or Oxan is sick of organ, so I'm hoping that'll be the summer or slam. I'm hoping that'll be a summer slam match, if not one of the main events here, because they seem to be building that up nicely. So yeah, and obviously you get the King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring ornaments to ornaments still to continue. The next pay-per-view is Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia. I'm aware of that ornament will conclude. So the brackets will continue on SmackDown. And yeah, a good opener. It's tag team match and a good promo from Solo. Ah, um, LA Knight made some valid points in his backstage confrontation with Adam Pearce. It was about a promo. And just before we go, actually, Ian Hyder are actually asked about what's next. Um, b- b- but he said she wasn't too bothered about the tag title. She's more bothered about the in the ring tournament. She's never on it or been to the final higher of area has she then bumps into the solo in the corridor. You, he says, are kind of in the door something or higher uh, animal Ira says so I never got the opportunity to challenge Becky again because I was forbidden to because she lost it back. Ash and so actually says it's it's have that much sooner more can sounds of that. So overall guys a pretty good show. I think you'll get to see a lot of tag team like ups in the women's division. I think a break up between you and Iron is on the um I think you'll have Morgan and Roxanne are on the collision course for Summer Slam or Elder Jitty is wasn't too happy of either during the segment in the Judgment Day up house. So yeah, I think SummerSlam could potentially be the end for the Judgment Day where it shall be make music to Sean's ears because he hates the Judgment Day with a passion. But like to be honest, I like the Judgment Day because I think they are some of the best wrestlers and characters with uh, and the company, but Sean hates the Judgment Days. So, to be honest, he can't stand the but overall, guys, 8 out of 10. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And did you watch the Chirrup Away Mammoth versus Math match or the EP afterwards? I'd love to know your opinions on that match as well, and I'll see you over very soon. Or like, share and subscribe to the channel and on notifications.